actually went overseas and was conducting rescues of Americans left behind in Afghanistan. I actually conducted the very first successful overland rescue of Americans that were left behind, which was Miriam and her 3 children. These are Amarillo, Texas, American-born natives, who was at the front gate waving their passport, trying to get inside, while we were on the phone, myself and Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, trying to get your State Department task force to let them inside. You're telling me you didn't leave them behind?
I'm telling you, Congressman, that we got every American out that we could, and when we got completed the evacuation, I said we're not leaving anyone behind. We're to keep doing this until we get every American who says they want to leave and identify themselves to us out. And as I
you also said, though,
500
that
between.
I'm reclaiming my time. You also told Congressman Davidson that the U.S. government was not blocking aircraft. Is that correct?
I have no knowledge of the U.S. government.
Yet my aircraft, who had 5 approved PPRs, which are prior permission required landings, to HKIA to rescue 28 Americans, was denied 5 times, saying that it was at the behest of the Department of Defense and the Department of State to prevent us from coming in to rescue Americans. That was what was told to us over the radio from the ATC towers. But yet, to your knowledge, no one was being blocked. Let me tell you, that is a farce and it's a complete lie. I will also tell you that in a NEO, State Department does not take ultimate control once it is declared. It's the Department of Defense who actually is supposed to, yet your task force still try to hold operational control, which led to a lot of disruption, and that has been reported multiple times by commanders on the ground. Yeah, so I will tell you, I'm going to finish, sir. The other thing is that in Israel, a horrible incident occurred where over 1,200 people lost their lives. And yet the State Department had done nothing to come in and actually rescue Americans who had been left behind. How do I know that? Because the very first rescues conducted was on October 11th from Nazareth, Tiberias, and Haifa. How do I know it? Because I was the one who conducted them. 32 Americans that day, then into the West Bank, then into Jerusalem, then out towards Gaza. I got 255 Americans out by myself before the State Department lifted a finger and did anything to bring a plane in. Meanwhile, other nations were already flying aircraft in and out, rescuing their citizens. Again, another failure of 22 U.S.C. 4802.
Not correct.
I will also, it is correct, and the reason I know it's because I was there. Were you there, sir?
I had an
Were you
entire
there, sir?
embassy there.
You were not. Let's go ahead and start with that.
There, and I've been there 12 times.
How many Americans did you rescue, sir?
Yeah, we've gotten
how
many
many
Americans
did you
out.
personally rescue, sir? None, correct? So don't try and talk to me about ground truth. You couldn't even control what was happening in Afghanistan. Let's start there. The next thing I want to talk about is under your leadership, we have allowed Iran, the regime, to grow stronger than it's ever in its life. I'll give you some facts here. The Energy Information Agency said that Iran petroleum exports in Iran sold $144 billion in the first 3 years of your administration. Now, why is that number important? Well, because that is $100 billion more than what was permitted in the full 2 years of the Trump administration. You talked about we had to go forward with the Doha agreement. That was part of the, even though it was a conditions-based agreement, you couldn't prevent from pulling out of that. But you had no problem pulling out of Remain in Mexico. That's led to an increase in sex trafficking, fentanyl deaths, and illegal migrants. More angel families than ever. You had no problem, but again, you can't pull out of it, and trying to delist the Houthi rebels from a terrorist organization that now has resulted in 12% of global trade through the Red Sea being disrupted. Do you agree that delisting the Houthis as a terrorist organization was a good play?
In terms of making sure that humanitarian assistance could get to the people of Yemen and that the Houthis were designated under multiple other
So endangering American citizens while now that they're getting increased attacks as a result of your actual failures. And I can tell you with absolute clarity, sir, reclaiming my time, I can tell you with absolute clarity that Hezbollah got stronger while you were in office. Hamas was funded because of your failures to be able to impose necessary sanctions so that the Iranian regime couldn't continue to fund. I'm still talking, Mr. Secretary. You've had your time. You've had 4 years to destroy this nation. You and this administration. I will tell you with absolute certainty, sir, that America is better off with you not in office. That the Iranian regime will now finally start to weaken with stronger sanctions and with us being able to do our jobs for the Iranian people who are actually trying to lead a free democracy. I can tell you that Hezbollah Hamas. Hamas's leadership under Sinwar would not have been eliminated if they would have listened Israel to what Biden had advised, which is ceasefire and stop. Hassan Nasrallah of Hezbollah would not have been eliminated if they would have listened to your leadership. And I can tell you right now that we are better off as a nation, we are safer as a nation, and our American citizens will be safer with you not sitting in that seat.
Gentleman's
With that, I
time's
yield back.
expired. Mr.
Thank
Costa
you
is
for your judgment.
recognized.
I wish you very good luck.
Mr. Costa is recognized.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I, first of all, like others, want to acknowledge the Gold Star mothers and families.